Hello folks, today is Friday, October 1st, 2021. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on throughout the week. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a lot of rumors, a lot of seemingly believable or credible rumors, and just a bunch of stuff, so let's just go. The first bit is the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remaster kind of rebuild thing in the news once again, this time because it was spotted at a ratings thing in Korea. You know, many countries have their own regulatory things where games are submitted and there's like a rating process, like here in North America we have M, teen, that type of thing. So a lot of times games are accidentally revealed early when they get submitted to ratings boards and people find them throughout the world, and this seems to be the case. It seems like it's officially titled Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, The Definitive Edition. And it seems like it's coming out sooner than we'd expect because this is going through the ratings board, and the reports, specifically Kotaku and places, are suggesting November after previous reports saying like October, November, and then it was getting pushed. Maybe now it seems like it's November. Again, take this all with a grain of salt. This is more like a release window. We don't know the exact day, but it's interesting. Really, more than anything, I'm just curious to see what this project even is. Like, how much of a rebuild is it? How much of an enhancement is it? Is it just the old games in 4K? The reports have suggested a little bit more, but I'm curious because Rockstar does things kind of weird sometimes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Also, like, I mean, I didn't wear this on purpose. It just happened. The other bit of news, it's a small thing, but it's pretty exciting. It's Insomniac's Spider-Man 2. This Marvel game that was announced a couple weeks back. A Marvel person went on record saying specifically that this game is going to be darker than the first. They specifically said, I think this is a pretty good quote, it's basically, the first Spider-Man game was like Star Wars, and this one is going to be like Empire Strikes Back. Which is pretty interesting, especially considering like the end of Spider-Man was kind of dark, you know, with the showdown with Doc Ock. Can I say this now? Can I spoil Spider-Man PS4?
It's been out for like a while.
Aunt May dies. So like they've already done cool gutsy stuff, so I'm excited to see what else they can do. Especially considering Venom is involved, anything can happen. The other big bit of news this week involves Konami, and this stuff is pretty crazy. So this is reporting and rumors and stuff, specifically from Video Games Chronicle, who has a good track record. I mostly trust their scoops here. This latest one suggests that Konami is very much getting back into business of video games. Now, we've heard the rumors in the past about Silent Hill and how multiple Silent Hill projects are in the works at various different studios, one being a prestige Japanese developer. But now we have a lot more coming out where apparently there is a lot in the works and they're coming back in full force. Personally, I knew this was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. I didn't think they were going to give up their intellectual properties. There's money to be made, and they restructured and they realized, oh yeah, we can make a bunch of money with all these things that people love. So, according to this report, there is a new Castlevania game in the works, kind of like a revival, a reimagining type of thing, which is interesting considering, I mean, like, time is a rapidly ever-moving thing that just marches on. I feel like Lords of Shadow just happened, and that was kind of like a reimagining, kind of rebirth type of thing, so they're doing it again. I mean, technically, it's been a long time, so I'm curious to see what this could be. More in line with the classic games, who knows? Along with that, finally, maybe a glimpse, a morsel of a little nugget of rumor for Metal Gear. So, it seems like Metal Gear Solid 3 is being remade by a studio, specifically a studio in China. And I don't know how to feel about that. You guys know I love Metal Gear more than anything, and you know, with Hideo Kojima and like everything being separate, the feelings are complicated here. It's a this and this, right? Like, I don't think that needs to be remade. I say just put it out in 4K, whatever, let it live forever. Also, please spend some time getting Metal Gear Solid 4 out there, because that thing is freaking trapped on PS3. But like, on the one hand, like, I don't think, like, just leave it. But then also, like, I saw somebody say online, like, if it's Metal Gear Solid 3 and it plays like Phantom Pain, like at least movement and control wise, it could be like incredible. I think maybe what they're doing here is essentially they're starting from the beginning and they're remaking 3, and they're going to build up the story linearly. Maybe, at least that's what they're going to try. It's a weird choice for 3 to remake 3. That's the one that everybody seems to love the most. I love the first one more than anything, but hey, I've talked about Metal Gear way too much. Thank you for listening. If you want to read the full report, it is very interesting. It will be linked in the description down below with all the other stories we talk about. It is also the skeptical side. It's worth pointing out that, you know, Konami has had issues. Gamers have had issues with Konami for a while, and their newest game, their kind of like rework of Pro Evolution Soccer, or PES, is called eFootball, I think, and people are dunking on it hard. Apparently, it's a mess. I mean, look at this. This is really funny. So, I don't know. We'll see where that goes. We'll keep you guys posted, of course. Hey, next up, this episode is brought to you by Turtle Beach's new Recon controller. It's designed specifically for Xbox Series X, S, and 1, and Windows 10 PCs, and it's the first controller to pair onboard audio innovations with game-changing on-the-fly control tweaks. First, it's got 2 extra mappable buttons on the back, which is nice, and on the front, it's got a button to activate Pro Aim focus mode that can tune thumbstick sensitivity and can specifically help with something like long-range accuracy in an FPS. And on the audio side, you can plug a 3.5mm headphone jack into this guy to get nice audio advantages like special EQ presets for the right sound. It also gives you onboard mic monitoring and onboard game and chat sound mix controls conveniently at your thumb tips. Thumb tips? Fingertips? Are thumb tips a thing? And if you have a Turtle Beach headset already, you can take advantage of their superhuman hearing feature. This controller is definitely feature-rich without sacrificing on the basic stuff you definitely need. It feels good in the hand, it's ergonomic, and it's wired via USB-C for that hardcore connection, which is something I really like. So if you're feeling nasty and you want to check out the Turtle Beach Recon controller, it's going to be linked in the description down below. But thanks to Turtle Beach for sponsoring our videos. Now in some acquisition news, surprising nobody, Sony has officially acquired Bluepoint. Bluepoint, of course, are the champions of remaking awesome games. They did Demon's Souls, they did Shadow of the Colossus. Everybody thought that they were making a Metal Gear remake. Seemingly that's not the case. They are apparently working on different projects now, and maybe not necessarily a remake, but it's just funny because the news came out and so many people assumed that this was already a thing forever, but now it is. So congratulations, Bluepoint, I guess, for getting that bag, as the kids say. But on the other side of things, Netflix is buying up some studios. So they just bought Night School Studio, which is the people behind Oxenfree, which is an interesting purchase. Very curious to see what that leads to. I'm also really curious to see how hard Netflix is really going to go into this game stuff. It does seem like it's ramping up. All these big companies getting involved is weird. I mean, we have New World, which came out this week, worth highlighting, by the way. Server queues are insane, but people seem to be enjoying that. I think people maybe were just thirsty for like a new classic style, regular old MMO. Even though there's still a couple other than WoW, like Final Fantasy and stuff, this seems appealing. I'm going to try and jump into that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Flipping gears over to Xbox news, couple things from them this week that was worth highlighting. They held kind of like an accessibility event where they are working to add more discoverability for accessible games on the Xbox Game Store, which is super nice. We're pro accessibility here at gameranx, so it's worth highlighting. Also, shout out to our international friends. I've seen you guys. I know some of you guys watch. Worth highlighting that Xbox Cloud has now officially launched in Mexico, Japan, Brazil, and Australia. So you got a new thing to play around with. Our friend here, editor Juan, lives in Monterrey in Mexico, and he said so far, it works pretty well. I use it here and there. It's a nice little bonus if you're in the Xbox ecosystem. Xbox also had their big Tokyo Game Show event, kind of putting out a big push for Japanese gamers that they've been trying to do for a while now. Scarlet Nexus is now on Game Pass, which is pretty cool. I definitely recommend that. The combat is super sick. A bunch of little things here and there. I'll link the whole post down below, but it's worth highlighting that Starfield, they're gonna push big in Japan. It's gonna have full Japanese localization, which is pretty cool. Now, some cool things linked in the description down below that you might wanna check out or get caught up on. The first is a long read. An article, because I always say here, you know, we talk about video games so much, you should be well read up on them. So this is from Games Radar. Shout out to them for this excellent piece that is the making of Robocop versus Terminator. It's really interesting. Definitely recommend that if you're looking for something to read this weekend. Also, I linked a trailer for a new Gungrave game. I totally forgot they were making another Gungrave. And now that I remembered, I'm super happy. This gameplay trailer looks pretty sick. Also, as a Starship Troopers fan, I feel obligated to tell the world about everything Starship Troopers Terran Command, which is a PC game. There is a Steam event going on from now, so part of that is there's a demo coming out for this. It's like a Starship Troopers RTS. It's been a minute since we had one, and I just wanted to highlight that. We got a look at Monster Hunter Rise running on PC, and it looks pretty good. Also, that game is incredible, so I'm really excited for PC people who don't have Switch to get their hands on this. Also, we have the official launch trailer for Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye. So far, it's gotten really good reviews and impressions, so if you were a fan of the original game, you're probably gonna be happy here. Also worth highlighting, next week, Alan Wake Remastered is dropping. Very excited to play that again. IGN has like 7 minutes or so of 4K gameplay, and it's quite a visual overhaul, so if you want to check that out, that will be linked. Sometimes with like remasters and stuff, like the art style or like the color palette can slightly shift, so I'm waiting exactly to get my hands on this to see before I make a judgment, but honestly, it's spooky time, it's October, I'm pumped to replay this. Also, in other news, oh boy, it just keeps going. The Switch Pro. Switch Pro is back in the news because apparently, according to Bloomberg, more than 11 developers have had Nintendo development kits for 4K. They've been making Nintendo games for 2022 and beyond in 4K. So it seems, according to this report, at least the way I read it, it seems like a Switch Pro was a thing. There has been previous reporting that the Switch OLED it was more of just that because of component shortages and stuff with the pandemic and everything going on. They decided to scale back on making it a Switch Pro, which is also maybe suggesting why those kits are out there in the first place. But it's also worth pointing out that Nintendo came out hard against this reporting. They said it's false. They said the only thing they have in the works is the Switch OLED, which is coming out next week. They're probably saying that because they want people to buy it, but it's interesting because Nintendo doesn't usually come out hard and deny stuff like that often. But yeah, I don't even know where we're at now at this point with the Switch Pro. It's so confusing. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Also, in a surprising twist, the new Twisted Metal is definitely a thing. Thanks to this new scoop, apparently it is being worked on by Lucid, the people behind Destruction All-Stars. Pretty good mix, I would say. Apparently this is going to be free to play, and I think it's interesting because Destruction All-Stars, I thought it was content light and it wasn't as satisfying as I had hoped, but the actual feel of, like, you know, cars crashing, the way the driving felt, the way some of the abilities felt, it was pretty well done. So I'm excited to see them apply their knowledge to Twisted Metal. This has been rumored before in a lot of ways, but now we have this. Then we have the fact that they're making a Twisted Metal like show. So I'm really interested to see the revival or the comeback of Twisted Metal. It's crazy. But that's all the interesting stuff this week that was going on. Let's take this ship out to sea. I want to hear what you guys think about everything, from the Xbox news, from Tokyo Game Show and stuff like that, to the Bluepoint acquisition, to the crazy Konami rumors. Oh boy, what's going on in this world? So much video game news, so definitely let us know what you find the most interesting. It always helps us gauge what type of videos we're gonna make. I always say that, but let us know. Anything down there will be in the comments, but it gets a little crazy sometimes, so if you wanna yell at me directly, hit me up at Jake Baldino on Twitter and Instagram, and youtube.com/Jake Baldino. If you're playing New World, let me know what you think. I definitely wanna hear it, so shoot that at me if you want. But thank you for coming around every week here. We will never stop. Clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us out. We would very much appreciate that. And if you're new, of course, it's worth saying that you should subscribe because we put out videos every freaking day. But I'm Jake Baldino. Catch me here every Friday and on the Before You Buy videos. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.